Do the developers just hate Dragon Ball Saga? And I'll add one more into that mix. Do they also hate Saiyan Saga? Right now, a lot of us have decided that this is going to be a saving saga. It's the period before the anniversary. We have 1 month left. The anniversary starts at the end of May. So the likeliness of there being anything else after this campaign, or if it's not a campaign, just the idea that we're getting Dragon Ball Saga units, is very slim. We're not going to get anything else after this. It's going to go very dry. And honestly, people might feel that right now, but more to people's concerns, Dragon Ball Daima is going to be basically the meta team until the anniversary starts. So you got to deal with that. But let's look at it for what it is. Why do they release Dragon Ball Saga and Saiyan Saga units at the worst times ever? I think we can all agree that these two sagas, when it comes to the Dragon Ball Legends mobile game, are the least hype things, generally speaking. If you were asking me personally, I would love to see a Kaioken Goku and a Gallic Gun Vegeta, both of them drop on different banners, and they drop the Legends Limited back to back, similar to how they've done Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku back to back for Dragon Ball Daima. I would love to see that for Saiyan Saga. I can't speak too much on Dragon Ball OG, I just haven't seen it. So I won't be critiquing them too much, but the general reception from what I see, every time we see something Dragon Ball Saga related or Saiyan Saga related, people just turn the other way. It's just not something of large interest. And to me, that's interesting. I can understand why. More of the recent stuff, you know, Dragon Ball Super, it's just more flashy, more hype. There's a lot more things going on. It's promoted more. A lot of guys that play Dragon Ball Legends are younger, so naturally that's just what they're accustomed to, and nobody wants to go back and watch the old stuff. People will do, obviously, but I'm just speaking generally. But for other reasons, but not including the hype factor of the actual series, that's to each their own. In the game, you probably go about it differently because you have to allocate your Chrono Crystals a certain way. And I think the timing that they actually push Dragon Ball Saga or Saiyan Saga any time that they have has always been horrible. But let's take a deep dive into what we have right now, and I want to talk about last year's situation, which we didn't get much of, but I do want to mention it. So on the date I'm making this video, it is the 14th of April. We're clearly getting Dragon Ball Saga related stuff, and they've even posted a hint on Twitter, some character doing a hurdle. Whatever you think that is, let me know in the comment section below, but I'm not going to be doing a deep dive into that specifically. The general idea is based on the April Fools. We got that Cyborg Tao, so we know that he's Dragon Ball Saga, so we already have that there. And they also Zenkai'd the Wasteland Bandit Yamcha. So we've got our two pieces there to start off the Dragon Ball Saga campaign. But more into the timing, they're doing this right before the 7th anniversary. Now, if you're wondering why this is bad, as in the timing, it's because everybody will be saving for the 7th anniversary. There's obviously those people that are paid to win and will spend regardless and try to get everything. They just collect everything. But that's definitely not a large portion of the player base. Those guys that spend money, they obviously push the game a lot more because the money being spent on the game helps them develop more. But the player base that doesn't spend on the game are just as important because the numbers do a lot to say that, oh, this is worth investing in. But dropping Dragon Ball Saga prior to the anniversary, it just means that a lot of free-to-play players are not going to invest because whatever comes in the anniversary is tailored to be more hype, and the developers know that as well. It's not even something they're trying to hide. We've got Vegito every single year for the past 6 years of Dragon Ball Legends. In some way, shape or form, Vegito makes an appearance in the anniversary, and he's done that for 6 years in a row. They're not trying to hide the fact that fusions are the most hype thing. They're not trying to hide the fact that certain characters like MUI Goku are even more hype. They know what is going to sell the most, and because of that, they align their releases a certain way. So Dragon Ball Saga being right prior to the anniversary is really like, wow, they're looking for the weakest thing they could drop so that people can just summon if they kind of feel it, but then the anniversary will blow up. In addition to that, you could also see it as them not wanting to waste something that could be valuable in a period like this, knowing that people are naturally going to skip whatever comes right prior to the anniversary simply because everybody knows the anniversary is going to be the most hype thing. So there's no point of them dropping something super hype like a Ultra Instinct Goku right before the anniversary when they're going to drop something else in the anniversary. They'll probably just look better, be more budget, the reveal will be more hype, they're going to put more promotion into it. It would just be a waste. So it kind of seems like they're throwing Dragon Ball Saga under the bus. If you like Dragon Ball Saga, you will invest, but then the anniversary will be something probably everybody likes, generally speaking. So it really just feels like if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're in suffering right now, because the one time that you do get to get the stuff that you want, you have to sacrifice the biggest event of the year, if not the second biggest event of the year, which obviously would be the festival if we're not talking the anniversary. But not just the period that we have right now, let's also talk about the Legends Limited Goku Youth that we got. I believe this was 2 years ago, so after the 5th anniversary, some random period in between the anniversary anniversary and the festival, we got the Goku Youth, and that unit did nothing. It's not that he was bad, but he didn't get anything extra. So it's not even like they invested in Dragon Ball Saga in the slightest. They just dropped that Goku and called it a day. I guess we got Master Roshi with him, and I think it was Android 8. But come on, bro. If you think that's enough to build a whole team that has nothing, what do they have? The Zenkai Goku Youth from Legends Road. Are you serious? If you think that's gonna be enough, I don't know what they was cooking. Clearly a filler Legends Limited, especially looking in hindsight. Now let's go back to 2025, our current situation. Based on how they've been releasing stuff for other tags, I imagine they would build up Dragon Ball Saga and make the correct moves. So they gave a Zenkai. I'm assuming the Legends Limited, whatever they drop, it will probably be green, so the Yamcha can actually be of use. The Z abilities that come out will be good as well. The unit's kits will be good, but maybe restricted. If not restricted, then it's fine. We'll probably get an Ultra from this Saga as well, so that's also a possibility. There's these ideas that float around that everybody has based on how they've been releasing units for other tags, that Dragon Ball Saga will be a good tag if you invest in it. But the question is, why would you invest in it if the next thing, which is the anniversary, is just going to be better? And that's why it really feels like they hate Dragon Ball Saga, because fair enough, they might go ahead and make the team actually good this time, but the timing of it still throws it under the bus because people are less likely to invest in it right before the anniversary. Let's talk about Saiyan Saga. Saiyan Saga also doesn't have much on their plate. It's not a team that's been well built up, but they've had pieces here and there. When 8 Vegeta Zenkai'd, people were hoping for him to be good. He wasn't great, to be honest, but on top of that, he just didn't attribute anything for the Saiyan Saga tag. Obviously it's a Saga, but you know, the team did nothing. They had no movement, so it's kind of like, what was the point of that? I guess he was a Zenkai buffer, but that's about it, and that's a shame because he's a Legends Limited. You would hope for Legends Limited Zenkais to actually get a lot more out of them, but that one just didn't. Let's also talk about Nappa and Vegeta last year. Now what I will say about Nappa and Vegeta is they served purpose outside of Saiyan Saga, so they were very useful on Frieza Force because in that year we also got Ultra Golden Frieza. But if it wasn't for Ultra Golden Frieza, they would barely be scraping Vegeta Clan, and even then Vegeta Clan just wasn't used, even though it was a good team, and I will be the first to say it heavily. Vegeta Clan last year was a good team, but Saiyan Saga again got nothing to actually make it a comprehensive team. And the Frieza Force carry based on their element, so they can get the same buffs as Ultra Golden Frieza and First Form Frieza. Frieza Force is a cheat code. Lineage of Evil is also a cheat code. Powerful opponents on the other hand, it already had strong forces, which wouldn't really make Nappa and Vegeta a main option. People used them for a little bit, and that's only because they had the revival layer, but if it wasn't for that, they literally had the best scenario and still didn't get used long, and that says a lot. Did they really just throw Saiyan Saga under the bus? There's so much potential that could be brought out of Saiyan Saga as well. Nappa and Vegeta as a unit look phenomenal, but I feel like with their kit they just got slated. They just didn't do enough for them, but there would have been more potential for them if Saiyan Saga was built up as a whole, because that saga can then be used and attributed to this unit rather than this unit trying to be placed elsewhere. We don't have a place for them, but we're just gonna put them elsewhere. Golden Frieza carried their asses, and even then they just got removed and people opted in for powerful opponents instead. Especially long term, have you seen Nappa and Vegeta return? I don't think so. If I was to speak about Saiyan Saga, the last time I can remember them having something relevant in the meta at a serious level was when they dropped the first green 8 Vegeta. I believe he's the first unit in the game to have an explosive green, and that's a big deal. That unit there, if he Zenkais, he could be very, very dangerous. If he Zenkais, there's a lot of potential for that unit to have a very high ceiling. Of course, he's super old, so they'd have to add a lot. It would have to be 2 great unique abilities on a Zenkai and a platinum equipment for just 2 extra uniques pretty much to make him the most insane unit. But his template isn't too bad and could be built upon insanely well. The devs probably won't do that, but he's got that potential there. It could also just be a good Zenkai buffer, and if he's decent enough in terms of damage numbers, similar to how they done free-to-play Diamond Goku, there's room here for great improvement. But will the devs do that? It doesn't seem like they care enough about Saiyan Saga. They just don't invest in it. They don't want it to be a top tier team for some reason. I could list a bunch of reasons why they wouldn't want it to be a top tier team, to be honest, but then why buff them at all if you're not going to make them at least decent? I think they're just really wasting the tag, and it hurts because I'm not even the biggest Saiyan Saga defender. I'm not even the biggest Dragon Ball Saga defender, but once they go ahead and Zenkai somebody, once they go ahead and release somebody, if they get it wrong, you probably won't get another variation of that unit for a year plus, 2 years plus. That's how I feel about a lot of units they fumbled. I can name so many units they fumbled, and it hurts me because I know I'm not going to get another one of those for a long time. if I'm to name one that's very big off last year, using Gogeta Blue. I know a lot of people are distraught about that release, especially a month after his release. People just started putting him down and hanging on to the Striker Sword just because it's a cool gimmick. But in terms of usability, we all know it's flawed. It's not perfect. It's nothing like transforming Vegito Blue in terms of counter engages, because there's so many conditions before you get there, and it's not even optimal in general. So it's just a shame that Fusing Gogeta Blue couldn't be much better than he was, because we know we're not getting another one for a while. We can just pray for a plat, I guess. And imagine that, but for a whole entire saga. That's tough. To end this video, I wanted to actually just show you the Dragon Ball Saga roster currently, and it is abysmal. And I'm going to include Sparkings, Ultras, EXs, and Heroes. I'm going to give you every single option in the game. Look at this. Horrendous. This is a terrible lineup of characters. There's literally nothing here. And you're telling me for something with 100+ episodes, this is all we've got? That's not real. They've clearly been avoiding dropping Dragon Ball Saga units, especially as high rarity characters. For whatever reason, I'm not going to presume what they are. I could name a couple, but that would just be off me. For example, they're not hype. But I don't think hype is the reason. We're 7 years in, so there's a lot of reasons to at least drop good Dragon Ball Saga characters. Now, if I speak on Piccolo Jr. and Goku, those two are actually solid. I'm not gonna lie. But the timing of their release and the banner that they were on just made it so that people didn't want to summon for them anyways. And then everything else, maybe Demon King Piccolo, he was actually pretty good on his release. I remember him being a transforming unit being very annoying to deal with. Maybe Chi-Chi was good, but against nothing to build around. And we can also take Demon King Piccolo as well. I believe he permanently nullifies endurance. But like, most of these are individual standalones. The saga never actually got love as a whole. And there's a lot to build on here. Not much to upgrade here. So they're gonna have to drop a good roster of units, potentially seeing something like the Turles squad and one Legends Limited into an Ultra. That's probably the only way that they could build this up. The Ultra being Goku Youth, I guess. Legends Limited being Demon King Piccolo. They probably could go the other way, but they literally just dropped a Goku Youth. They could also have an older Goku, you know, it doesn't have to be the kid variant. There's a lot of ideas here that they could pull out. But yeah, Dragon Ball Saga just sucks. I don't want to talk about Saiyan Saga a lot because right now we're going into a Dragon Ball Saga campaign pretty much. But with Saiyan Saga, it's pretty much the same thing, and I could make a video talking about them in more detail as well. Probably won't, but I'm just saying they have the similar circumstance of just being snubbed, and very obviously too. It's not even like they're trying to hide it. It's all in our faces. Pause. But it's right there. Like, you can't even ignore how bad they've literally snubbed this tag, and it kind of sucks. Not for me, maybe not for you, but there's some unk 28+ years old, 35+ years old that is distressed that in this mobile game that they signed up for, they can't get their Dragon Ball OG characters their whole childhood, you know? That's tough. Too bad though, but that's tough. At the end of the day, for most of us, it's going to be a saving saga. I'm saving no matter what it was, you know. They're gonna have to drop a Super Gogeta, Super Vegito on the same banner, Legends Limited, Ultra Finish, whatever. Just some crazy stuff for me to summon, because honestly, I'm broke. I ain't got the CC, bruh. I ain't got it. And probably most of you guys don't either, so let's rack up these CC. But the devs, we see what you're doing here. We know why you released Dragon Ball Saga right before the anniversary, bruh. You're not trying to waste the budget. There's clearly big budget coming for the anniversary. You guys hyping up this biggest year. Hey man, I'm prepared for the slow period, so when the updates do start rolling out seriously, it starts feeling like it for real. Well, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.